Hey guys, I'm here with Kyle Draper, and today we're going to talk about real estate, what the market's doing, and also why he decided to join EXP.
Right.
Like, who is Kyle?
Right. Kyle's an OnlyFans model. No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's like, that's why, back in the day, people would be like, oh, I need to be at the right company. This and that. It's like, no, you need to be at a company that you identify with. The public doesn't give a shit what company you're with. They give a shit about who you are,
Like, to me, I saw it, I'm like, that's fucking funny, dude. Like, I would, like, if I was somebody wanting to buy a house, that'd be, you think? Call me when you need to buy or sell a home. I'm not cut out for OnlyFans. Dude, that's two of us. That's why I gotta do construction.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how much money they make on OnlyFans, dude?
It's wild. It's
Good
very
for them.
wild.
I say good for
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
Yeah, but I think OnlyFans is great, dude, for people that are making money there. You know,
You like OnlyFans? No, I'm kidding.
I've never participated, but if you're making money that way, dude,
Right.
I can't hate on it, dude. Like,
Not at
there's
all.
worse ways to make money, you know?
Absolutely, and especially in that space, I mean, it's like safe, controllable, very few middle people involved,
Yeah. Speaking of OnlyFans, have you ever gotten like an actual client that does OnlyFans and they bought a house through with?
We just leased a place out. Our clients were the landlords, and then the tenants were
Models?
yes.
Models?
Yeah.
I wonder, does that like work the same way? Yeah, right? Like your income, you have to verify your income to buy a house?
Yeah, just like with renting, yeah, people, you want to see bank statements, want to see that
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that OnlyFans.
What do you mean?
Like, could they show their income to purchase a house?
Oh, absolutely. It's legit income. It's not like illegal or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, banks will let that money sit in there. Like, it's not like drug money or something. Like, that's like legit, you pay taxes on that. Like,
Okay. Nice.
we're in the wrong industry.
Yeah, I was just curious, bro. I was like, okay. So tell me about your team now. What do you guys do? Where do you guys serve more? What areas? How many people in the team?
Man, we are all over the place now. We're at, I believe, 32 agents, and just scattered, really. We've got a group of maybe like 6 in the IE, which is really cool for me. I never thought that we would have such a presence out there, and that was kind of a product of starting during COVID, really, and we were so virtual, and that just allowed us to take agents on that we weren't, like geographically right next to each other, and so that's been super fun. Is just really expanding kind of our reach. We do Antelope Valley, some like Lancaster, Palmdale even, like up there, and then probably bread and butter is going to be like San Fernando Valley. We do a lot in the city, like, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
South Bay. We've got a handful of like 4 agents in South Bay.
Okay.
So we're just really, really all over, which is, it's fun because for me as a team leader, it's like I am just always trying to acquire like leads for the team, and I'm just like playing matchmaker all day.
Is that your main thing? Is like getting leads for your agents? Would you say that's kind of one of the bigger things?
It's definitely one of my bigger responsibilities. Yeah. Putting the partnerships together, managing the lead flow, all that stuff.
Without sharing too much secret sauce, how are you getting these leads for your agents? Or is that secret sauce?
I mean, not really. We just have partnerships. Like Homelight's a partner of ours. They're one of those referral based ones where they give you leads, and then when you close, you pay them a referral on the back end.
What do they do?
Homelight actually does a lot of stuff. I mean, they do title, escrow.
Okay.
They have a website that they just like get buyer and seller leads from, basically. Veterans United's a big lead source for us. We're crushing it on pay-per-click. We have a little
Google?
tiny... Yeah, Google pay-per-click.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we've gotten really good over the last couple of years at that. When we first started, we were not closing very well, and now we're dialed in that, which is great because we have like a tiny Zillow spend. A Zillow lead costs maybe like $400 a pop. Pay-per-click
For
lead.
a qualified lead.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they're right now they're performing the same as a pay-per-click lead, which is crazy because pay-per-click is about $20 a lead. So like
Big
for me
spread.
as a team leader, like I can scale with pay-per-click. You have to have like really good systems in place. You have to really train on the scripting and mindset with it, because it's different than a Zillow one where a lot of those are just like live call transfers, and you're basically taught with those like just set the appointment. Like they're calling because they want you to show them a property, so just schedule the appointment, like get the hell off the phone, more or less, because then you're gonna do better face to face with them.
But what if they're not even qualified, dude, and they just hit you up?
That's okay.
Oh, you're good with it?
Yes, that's where a lot of agents, I think, get it wrong, is they care too much about that early on. I'm not going to show multiple properties to somebody if they're not qualified, but if this is the example I always give, like if somebody called you up and said, hey, I have some questions about buying a house. Can you do, what we would call a buyer consultation? Let's meet up at a Starbucks or something. Every single realtor on the planet would say yes to that. But so many realtors, if it's a showing that they're going to meet somebody for the first time, they're like, oh, well, where's your pre-approval letter? And it's like, dude, this showing, you know you're not going to sell them that house.
Yeah.
But it's really like a buyer consultation in disguise is that showing. So just show them the house. And if the listing agent isn't there, if you're showing it on your own, sit down at the dining room table and do your buyer consult right there, or the kitchen island consultation. And then if the listing agent's there, respect their time. They would strangle you if you did a whole buyer consultation while they're like, get out of my house,
Yeah.
So then you're just doing it like in the front yard, or maybe you say like, hey, that was awesome. There's a coffee shop right around the corner.
Let's get more into details of what you're looking for.
But you gotta like shooters shoot, right? And so that's just an opportunity to get in front of somebody. So again, it's like a buyer consultation disguised as a showing. So yeah, you wouldn't let them, command your time, and you're showing them like 10 houses every weekend, and then 3 months later you finally talk about their finances.
But it's the entryway.
Yeah, it's the entryway. And people do better face to face. So that's why if somebody, like if an online lead wants you to show them a house and you haven't built that relationship yet, show them that house. But then you have to be really, really careful to not be what a good buddy of mine, his name's Colton Whitney. He says, don't be like a Vanna White real estate agent where you're just, you're opening doors and that's your whole value. And here's the kitchen. Like you have to actually come with value. And especially with first-time home buyers, it's all about educating them, providing them with different resources, different connections, different lenders that can talk about different loan programs. So if you're providing that value, they will stay loyal to you. If your only value is that you were there and you had a Supra and you opened the house up and you said, oh, have at it, guys, and you didn't connect, build rapport, add value, then yeah.
How important is it, bro? You're talking about like giving them lenders options, right? How important is it like to get the right lender versus the wrong lender? And I know it's
yeah.
Explain that, because people are, you have a good architect? I'm like, nope, I don't.
Right.
Why? Because I don't know. Like, if I refer the architect and they do them wrong, then it's on me.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Not all lenders are created equally. Not all realtors. I mean, just any profession, basically. And that's something that, like, over the years, we're fortunate to have worked with so many different people, and you just kind of, like, filter, the good ones stay, the bad ones don't. And they also have different offerings and different programs. Some might specialize more in the like non-QM space, meaning, more difficult kind of bank statement loans for entrepreneurs. Every lender kind of has different little niche products and whatnot. So that's another thing too, is like talking to different people and understanding what they have to offer. And so then you can kind of play matchmaker with your client and referring to the right lenders.
And you haven't made any money then? Right? Because you're referring them out.
Correct. Yeah.
So this was like a long game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super long game. I mean, realtors, I mean, there's some exceptions to this where like people will pay a realtor, like a Redfin agent, like they can be on salary sometimes. But the traditional model of realtor is feast or famine. You make zero unless you close the deal with them. So that's actually very challenging, especially for new agents in the industry, because you're at about like a 3 month or so, if things are going well, about 3 months before there's money in your pocket, because you're brand new. So it's probably going to take you maybe a month to find a client,
right,
who's like ready to rock and roll. Then once you have that client, it's going to take maybe another month or so to get them under contract in escrow. Right. And then the escrow is, more or less around a month. So like it's possible to accelerate that a little bit, but it's very important that people have like kind of a game plan and that they're expecting that. It's very feast or famine.
Do you see people leaving the industry right now?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah,
absolutely. I stats get thrown around on Facebook all the time, so I am absolutely not standing behind this. But I think it was something like 70,000 realtors have left this year.
Out of how many?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a healthy amount. I mean, in hard markets, I love hard markets because that's where the good shine bright, and then you can gobble up market share. The kind of hobbyist realtor doesn't exist right now, and there's fees to being a realtor, and so actually right now is where like MLS dues, you pay your early bird specials now for like 2024 and stuff. So, and that costs like hundreds of dollars, and then there's your associations and all that. So, people who aren't selling are not going to be re-upping that. So I think we're going to even see
what
a
would it
bigger
see like to
drop-off.
re-up, like money wise, like what is it?
Oh man,
Or just
an
like-
agent
like-
was asking me that today.
More than
I'm
$500?
Yes, more than 500, because there's multiple. You've got like NAR, which is the national one. You've got the California Association of Realtors, and you've got your like local board. I think it all comes out to, when it gets added up, is between 500 and 1,000, something like that.
Yeah, if you're not selling.
Yeah.
would
If you're
you
not
renew?
selling it, I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And because before, when rates were so low, and prices were just skyrocketing, every buyer was just like, yeah, I got to get in. Like, now's the time. And so it was, and a lot of times the buyers would just do their own search themselves, and then they would just call their like friend, and they'd be like, hey, I'll do you a solid. Can you write this offer for me? Like, that is not the case now. Like, it is high skill that is needed now. Rates have improved a little bit, but like, we were crushing it in high interest rate environments with like 2-1 rate buy downs and these kind of more like, I don't want to say complicated strategies, but you have to be like living and breathing the industry to know how to win in this market. It's not just the like, oh, that training I took like 4 years ago, I'll just, write some off. It's not that.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be good.
Multiple offers still happening?
Yeah, multiple offers are still happening. It's a very interesting time right now because there's some properties that you can negotiate with the seller a little bit more, and you need those to get your like 2-1 buy downs and stuff. Because if you're asking the seller to pay for a 2-1 buy down and there's multiple offers and other people aren't, that's probably going to be pretty hard. So it's been very interesting where there's some properties where that's possible, and then a lot are in multiples. And the market for this time of year is hotter than I can remember. We actually had the median sale price for our like greater Los Angeles MLS data that we look at. It actually went up from October to November, and that is very rare. Normally, even in like booming markets, we normally would see a kind of decline over winter, and so far we haven't really seen that. I mean, we're even taking homes to market right now when in normal years
You would have to wait till
you
next
say,
year.
yeah, let's wait until like mid-January. But I actually, right before coming here, I was putting together like a multiple counter response for this listing we have out in the Inland Empire. And we went to market about a week ago, and we were studying the data, and we were like, we'll get multiple offers. We will be in escrow before Christmas. And so that's why we pushed it. The sellers wanted to push it. And again, in other years, we would be really like, we want you to get the most money out of this. We do not want to rack up days on market if buyers are kind of in hibernation. They're not really paying attention.
Right.
But buyers are focused right now, which is good. I think
Like, buyers want properties right now.
the pent-up buyer demand is insane.
Okay.
It is insane because it's been so funky, like, with rates and everything. So basically what happened is not 20.
Do you think it's a bunch of the OnlyFans of buyers?
They're buying houses,
Yeah, they're buying
again, that's
houses.
good. That's
Yeah,
good income. But so in April, May of 2022, that's when the rates went up. That's when the Fed like finally started
That's
jacking
when a lot
the
of
rates
people
up.
lost their shirt.
Yep.
Their percent.
That's when the gravy train of these low interest rates, the whole COVID boom, all that stuff. That's when it finally got reversed. Very necessary. I mean, inflation completely out of control. But so we saw prices go down from May of 2022 to December of 2022. And then the weirdest thing happened because interest rates stayed very high, but there was like a light switch that just went on January 1st of 2023. And there were headlines, mortgage applications are up big. And then we saw prices from January to about August do nothing but go up this year. And then August, like, flatlined. We had like 1 month where it went down a hair. But like I just said, we're going back up October to November. And that's wild to me because we haven't really seen rates improve that much. I mean, yeah, we're at like a 2-month low right now in rates, but that wasn't the case for the whole year. And so, like, my theory as to why things picked up January 1st of this year, even though rates didn't really improve, was, people were like, hey, we have needs to change our living situation, and we understand that rates aren't going to be, like in the 5s or anything like that for quite some time, but we still have a need to do this. And then that's what I was talking about with like the good high skill realtors really excelling in markets like this, because if demand is a little bit lower and there's not multiple offers on everything, like, was the case and still is to a degree on some opportunities, that's where you have leverage. And, the 2-1 buy down is this amazing mechanism that, like, when rates were like 7.75, we were getting clients with a 2-1 buy down of a 5.75 rate for their first year. So that's huge.
First year 5.75, second year goes 6.75.
Correct.
Then back to normal.
Exactly. But interest rates most likely will be lower before we get to like year 3 of ownership. So that's where they'll be refinancing and won't be like stuck at that higher one. It's a bet that rates are coming down.
Yeah. So you're seeing rates coming down 2024? Yeah.
Yep. I mean, look at inflation and look at unemployment. That's what the Fed is evaluating when they're deciding what they're going to be doing. And we finally are getting very good like inflation reports that are coming in a little under projections. And when that happens, the mortgage industry reacts very, very well. It's funny because
you don't worry about like the war stuff, like that affecting rates, or you don't think it has nothing to do with it?
I don't think that's what the Fed is concerned about. I mean, that's obviously a huge issue. I mean, there's an election coming up as well.
Yeah.
But like unemployment.
Dude, I really think about all this stuff. Like, I'm like, dude, like yes, the unemployment's going up, right? That's
it's starting to a little bit. It needs to go. It's so weird to root for unemployment to go up, but that's what the Feds have made very clear. Is going to be a big metric in terms of. If they just like stop raising, if they start lowering. There was an article that came out. It made the rounds on social media recently. And a lot of people got it wrong, saying that like the Fed will lower rates 6 times next year. The Fed did not say that. That was a survey of economists that basically said they think that will happen. So will it be 6 times? Probably not 6, but I think we're starting our like downhill kind of like it's working and things are improving with what the Fed is analyzing in terms of that. And so, yeah, I do see rates lowering next year, which is huge. Absolutely.
Because I'm thinking like the election, right? That's coming up. Regardless of what way you go, it's like depending who wins, like where do rates go from there, Yeah. The war, that's something else. That it's like 2 wars, actually.
I was just going to say, which war?
Which war? Yeah. 2 wars. And it's like, and we're not involved, but we really are involved in some sort of way, So I'm like, what if something else pops off? Then what? And I think we have a bigger problem than just rates, right?
Yeah, exactly. In terms of like global policy and everything, there's so much more than just like unemployment and inflation. But in terms of like interest rates, that's really like the big thing that is what we look at, what the Fed's looking at, and then when there's like good data there, the rates improve. So
nobody saw COVID coming, bro, and the rates
nobody did see that. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's crazy world events that think things could happen. I mean, shit, the aliens could like land, Q1 of next year, and but yeah,
that's crazy, dude. I when people are like, "What do you think?" I'm like, I don't know. Like, I think it's going down, but at the end of the day, it's like my bet is as good as anybody's bet, or
right.
Like, I don't even think they know what they're gonna do.
No, well, but I mean, their policy is working. The way they look at it, a lot of it's lagging indicators that just kind of take a little bit longer before like the data's, there are some of the like ways that inflation's calculated is lagging a little bit, but we're finally at the point where it's like, okay, even though it was lagging, we've been doing this for a minute now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I truly do think that they will be coming down, and I think that 2024 is going to be a hold on for dear life kind of year for people in like mortgage and real estate, your profession as well. The more people who are buying houses, the more they're going to be, hey, I don't like my bathroom I just bought, like, can you come improve it? Like, I think we're going to have a very
we're
robust...
in a tricky situation. Let me tell you why. Because more people that don't buy houses, we're talking about multi-generational living. So if they don't buy a house, then they're just like, you know what? Let's just build the ADU instead.
Right, I see.
So
you're booming, baby.
Either way, dude, it works either way. And if rates come low, then they still want to buy the house. They still want to build the ADU because the rates are low.
Right.
So it's like we're like in a sweet spot that, everybody's like, "Are you slowing down?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like, there is slowdown, but I think the people that slow down, kind of like what you're saying, it's the people that suck. That's just what it comes down to.
Do you have seasonality with your work?
Not right now, dude.
Not right now. It's just kind of like
constant. Like we're not taking on any more work till probably like January.
Damn.
So I said, like, thank you, bro. So I said, you know what? Like, we're just gonna pause, control what we have, and then like we'll take on more work in the sense of like we'll start plans, but we won't actually do physical construction till like late January, early February.
How big's like your squad these days? Like, what's the
it's not
operation?
big, dude. We got 7 people in staff.
Hell yeah.
Like our crew.
Yeah.
Painter, electrician, framers, concrete guys, right? And then we have our subs, same subs all the time: stucco, drywall, same roofer, same plumber.
How many projects can you be doing?
We're probably right now like at 13
at a time.
Yeah, we're at 13. Yeah. So but same thing. It's like the thing that people don't understand what they do is like, and I don't take on flips. Like people enjoy like, hey, let's do this flip. I'm like it's not what I do, because a flip is like go, 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 go.
Right.
And ADUs is like, we get this done. Okay, call for inspection. Get the inspection. Okay, now next phase.
There's not that pressure of like, dude, my hard money loan is killing me. Like, where the hell are you?
So like, let's just say now we have to go with the drywall. So after we get the framing done, then all the other crews come in.
Right.
The framer, the electrician, the plumber, the AC guy, the mechanical guy.
Yeah.
So then they handle their business, and I don't need to babysit them because we do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
We obviously have to verify what they're doing, but they handle their business. So it's like 7, but it's really a lot more than 7 people in staff,
Yeah,
but
especially with all the subs and everything.
Yeah. I would say if we counted all the subs and everybody, because we use the same guys, it's probably around 30 people, 35 people, somewhere around there. But I just say in-house, that's what we have.
Right. Nice, dude.
But it's I don't even know if I would want to have 35 in-house people. Could you imagine the payroll on that?
Whew.
Could you imagine like the taxes?
Oh yeah,
it's insane, dude.
Yeah, that's where I'm lucky, because my squad is like 1099, except for the small staff that we have. So
what do you have like in staff?
We have a director of operations who also doubles as our TC, transaction coordinator. And then we have a VA in the Philippines. And we're looking to hire a couple more VAs. And probably like mid next year, like one more like US like in office staff, like as we grow.
You like the VAs out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never done it, dude. I always was like, I'm gonna do it, and then it's like, did you have to teach them exactly what you need them to do?
Yes.
The language barrier.
No, we don't have a language barrier at all. Our guys in the Philippines, like absolute stellar English, and we just really lucked out with him. We were connected to him directly, so we didn't have to go through a company.
Okay.
And he's been amazing. He's been with us since the start of it, actually, because right when we started, the team started right around COVID, and this was when you had to have these things called a PED. I forget what that stands for, but it was basically like a COVID waiver saying that like if I get COVID on the showing, I won't sue anyone, basically. And you couldn't have one blanket that a buyer signed once that worked for everything. You had to get it signed for every single property that you showed them. And so we were like, oh my God, we need like admin help. And so That was like one of his first big responsibilities. He was just sending out like DocuSigns for those COVID waivers all day. And he's grown into, he does a few things for us, a lot of odd jobs, but the kind of one of the big value adds he provides the agents is he is a ninja at scheduling showing tours. Okay. So we trained him how, shout out to Pilar, she devised the whole system for this, but trained how to like route it geographically, account for traffic time for like the time of day that it's going to be. If it's a vacant property, like, you know, you're kind of taught to use that as an anchor because you're not dependent on listing agents' schedule. Like it's a really smart system. And then the agents have it all in their phone calendar, the whole showing schedule, the listing agent contact information, the MLS like PDFs right on their phone. So huge value add in that. And then he also does our like property inspection scheduling when we're in escrows and stuff. So absolutely, yeah, he's a huge resource, and I love him to death. And it's kind of cool because in the Philippines there's something called the 13th month, which is where in December, by law, if you're a company based in the Philippines, you have to pay your employees double pay in December. And that's something that like we've always done for it. Always done that. We're doing it this year, and it's very nice to kind of be able to
do 13th month.
I know.
Like every project I have in December is like double pay. I know.
That. I wish that was like that in real estate, because December, you're spending money in December. And then real estate in January for realtors are traditionally like your slowest months. So it's like, shit, like why couldn't the months that we're like shelling out all this money, buying gifts for everybody, like holiday parties and all that, it'd be nice if those were your peak months, but so be it. Yeah. It's all good.
So what's one thing, bro, that you see like in the real estate world that you're in that you don't like?
Oh my God.
And that could be better probably.
Yeah. I mean, there's one of the things that frustrates me the most would be just the whole appraisal process. I don't really know how to improve upon it. But there's so much that relies on the value coming in, like the purchase price, the appraiser agreeing with it. And luckily in the market that we've been in, it hasn't been that bad, because we're not like booming. People aren't, going absolutely insane the way that they were during COVID, which I think is like right around the corner once rates drop a little bit again. But that is one of my more...
The over asking?
Yeah, I mean, things are going for over asking now, but like it wasn't as crazy as before, where even appraisers know like the market is just on fire, but it still is like, whoa, this price up here, like yikes. And, when you have a deal kind of get shattered by an appraisal, it's just so much drama. It adds so much extra work. And what's frustrating about it is it's a very subjective process. You could have 3 different appraisers on the exact same day come out to the property and give you 3 totally different values. It's like some are just picking certain comps, others aren't. So I'd say that's one of my more frustrating pieces.
There hasn't been like a software, an AI that does this already?
Well, they have like AVMs. I mean, Zestimate. That's what they have, but they do not have it to the point where it's and I think software could get there very quickly. But like a Zestimate has no idea like the condition of your home. They're just taking like, okay, well, your home's about this size, other properties around your size in the neighborhood sold for this, but they're not yet knowing that like this property was like fully
needs 50
flipped.
grand of work or whatever.
Which quite frankly, with the way like AI is right now, I don't know why we're not there yet, but I'm not racing to get there, because it's a little scary. Like a big part of our value as realtors is pricing things. And I was very scared when the kind of iBuy, like when Zillow had a model a few years ago that they were rolling out in areas like Phoenix, where they have a lot of tract homes there, and they were kind of taking the agent out of the equation because the homes are all the exact same, so it's very easy to comp out. And, it would basically be like, here's a keypad that we're going to put on the thing. They were giving that out directly to the buyer. And then part of the process, too, was like Zillow was paying for their own home inspection ahead of time. Yeah. So it was already just understood like, oh, yeah, the roof, needs about 10 grand to work. That'll be part of like what, and I was like, oh shit, that's pretty scary. But it number one, it didn't really work even in Phoenix, and being a Los Angeles realtor, I'm not at all concerned about that because the variance of the homes,
the dynamics.
Exactly. It's so dynamic, and
well, it's the same thing with us. They tell us, oh, robots are going to do all the houses. And I'm like, it's possible. Track homes, I could see that happening. But like here where we live at, there's so much intricacy. Like how are you going to get a robot into this little hallway that goes to this big opening in the backyard? It's impossible.
Right.
So not saying it's impossible, but not probable.
Agreed.
So I can see that.
Here's the thing too. It's like technology, it changes maybe some jobs, but it really, like my view has always been, let's learn how to leverage this, not view this as something that's like scary or anything like that. So yeah, I'm definitely not like a Luddite.
What does that mean?
It was like a group of people, like religious people back in the day that were like really, really were anti-technology. Like when like the agricultural revolution were like tractors and stuff, like they were like, no, this is
against
so bad.
Tractors.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So interest rates went up. You have 32 people on your team. Was everybody doing good? Some bad, or what was up?
It's all over the place. We've got some like absolute rock stars who've been doing it for a while. We've got people, this is kind of the sweet spot in my heart are the people that like weren't doing well in their career. They were in their career from real estate for maybe like 1 or 2 years, didn't really have good success, and then came to the team and now are rock stars. Like that's like my absolute favorite thing. And then we've got a good group of agents that are new, who for the last like quarter or so have been groomed and are just really starting to take off. So I think 2024 is going to be very exciting for them. But that is something that like historically we were not taking on brand new agents, and now we've got the systems in place, the training, and I really like. I personally enjoy that part of it. And so if you're full time and you're committed to it, we will give you an opportunity. And that's one of the big things that I've gotten better at this year is being open to giving people opportunities, because some of the people that I was the most kind of concerned about when I gave them the opportunity, like, oh my God, like I'm getting too liberal with these offers, like yikes, have just taken off. And then you have some people that talk a big game and then, sizzle out. And so what we've gotten a lot better at are like standards and performance things. Like, if you're not showing up to our things, if you're not, hitting our performance standards, then you're out pretty quickly. So that's helped a lot, is like we will be liberal with the offering, but then very strict with like, this is basically a trial period and we're testing each other out. And, if we're not the right fit for you, that doesn't mean that you're not going to succeed in real estate. It just means that like we go pedal to the metal. I lead hour-long trainings Monday through Friday every single day from 9 to 10.
Nice.
And like I know what I give to it, and I expect them to be just as committed to their success as I'm committed to their success. And if that's not there, then you can do fine elsewhere.
So you work, and I seen a lot of agents in this company, EXP. I don't know the agent world, right? I kind of know it because I deal with a lot of agents, but I don't know as far as like EXP, and everybody talks good about it. So like, what is it like?
Some don't.
Some don't. For the most part, that's what I've heard, bro.
Right.
From outside looking in.
Sure.
EXP, what is it? Why is it like? It literally has it been around 2 years? 3 years?
No, it's been around for longer than that.
Well, I've heard buzz about it in the last 2-3 years, like crazy buzz, and people just jumping ship to that.
Yeah.
Why?
There's so many reasons. I like the kind of simple way to approach it is that, let's compare it to Keller Williams, which and I come from the Keller Williams world.
Okay.
So all the love to KW. I'm a product of it. This is not to knock on them, but because the models are basically the same with slight differences. So Glenn Sanford is the founder CEO of EXP. He was like very high up in the Keller Williams world, and he was like, you know what? I think we can take this model and improve upon it a bit, and basically take it and go virtual. So EXP absolutely has a ton of staff. I mean, the amount of support we get is through the roof. I love it to death, but they don't have like their own like regional like brick and mortars the way that Keller Williams does, where you've got like you're regionally owned. There's all this like political structure with that, and they've got
like the signs in the front, like
yeah,
retail.
Exactly. So with that, like I used to be, I've been at a few Keller Williams, but like Keller Williams. Los Feliz was one that I spent a lot of time at. Great memories there.
Were you in Keller Williams downtown LA?
I was there after that.
Okay,
yeah.
because I met the dude that runs that operation. I think.
Who?
I forgot his name. What's his name?
Well, there's ownership and then there's management.
Probably management. Yeah, I don't think it's ownership.
Well, a former manager.
Is it like in the 8th floor or something up there?
Yeah.
I went up there.
There's good people. One a while back.
I think he runs a team. I don't think he like ownership. Okay. But he told me he knew you. I was like, all right, let's go.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So that's how.
But,
like.
So with Keller Williams, you've got like your extreme expenses with it. There's the lease, the office lease for it, like very, very expensive. There's all the staff that's going to be at your local thing. There's the industrial copy machine lease and all that.
So agents have to obviously.
Well, you pay for it in your commissions and everything.
Right.
So there's something called capping, like in the realtor world, where you have your percentage split with your company. At EXP, it's just 80-20 across the board. At other places, like the bigger you get, you negotiate like maybe like a 95-5 split, and that's working your way up from like a 70-30. But to me, I don't give a shit about my split because if there's a cap model involved.
Yeah.
And so both companies have a cap model. Keller Williams.
Explain the cap model.
So capping is where you're going to pay your broker that whatever that percentage is. So at EXP 80-20, so you'd pay them 20% until you've paid a certain number. So, and this is the kind of answer to your question. Well, one of many, but with Keller Williams, like my caps were around like $35,000.
Okay.
My team has a $4,000 cap right now. We actually just got elevated to the highest tier at EXP called like Mega Team. And we used to have an 8,000 cap per agent. Now it's a 4,000 cap per agent. Me as the team leader, I have a 16,000 cap, but there's something called Icon Agent at EXP where once I cap, and then I think then I close 20 more transactions, then you reach Icon status where EXP will give you back the money that you've paid into them in stock. They immediately give you back $8,000 of it, and then if you attend like their culture events and do trainings and stuff, you earn back the rest of the $8,000. So that's why I love it so much. And you see these arguments in Facebook forums with realtors like, oh, it's so crazy that people aren't just their own brokerage. Why would you like attach your brand to somebody else's?
Insurance.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The answer is that EXP pays me way more than I pay them. And then they handle so much of that for me. Mm-hmm. If I were an independent broker, I would probably have to pay, I imagine, around $20,000 a year in errors and omissions insurance. We always say E&O. But as a EXP agent, I pay, I think it's $40 a transaction, but it caps at $500 a year. And they're going to take all of the back end processing off of my hands for me, and they ensure that we are compliant as hell. And at first, when we made the move, we were kind of at a former place that was like wild, wild west in terms of compliance. And then we're at EXP and, they're flagging our things. They're telling us we have to redo all this stuff. And at first I was like, this is kind of frustrating. But the bigger we get, the more I'm like, I love that we're buttoned up.
Structure.
Like, I don't want anybody to be able to come at me and say, oh, they did this wrong, get them in trouble. Like, we are so compliant right now, and that's a shout out to to them, like really monitoring us. And again, I am all in that's a good thing now.
So after you hit, let's say your agents hit $4,000,
yeah,
from the 80-20, then
they don't pay to EXP anymore. We have
we're talking about
splits.
Yearly, right?
Yeah, it's a 12 year.
Okay, 12-month.
Sorry, 12 month. Yeah,
12 year. I'll be like,
damn. Yeah.
So 80-20, they get until they hit 4,000 on the 20%, right? Mm-hmm. So we're not talking about a lot of homes.
We're talking like, depending on the price point, it could be one deal.
Yeah.
like 2.
Two, yeah. So
Yeah.
after that, you get 100%.
Yes. Now again, we have our team splits. So like them and the team are
Kyle
sharing
team.
income. Yeah.
The Kyle.
Exactly. But EXP is not touching that. Yeah. So that's one big thing is the reduced cap, and the stock as well. Stock's doing awesome, which is great. Like when you recruit people to the company, you're rewarded with stock. When you hit performance milestones, you're rewarded with stock. And then there is a program that you can opt into that just about everyone does because you're silly not to do it, where they will take 5% of your commission, every commission, and buy EXP stock at a 10% discount, which is huge because you're basically you're on top if you're buying it at a discount right off the bat. And that's been awesome. And for a lot of realtors, if they are, like, oh my goodness, I had a kind of barren month, or like, yikes, I didn't set aside enough for tax. It's like, there's so many stories where people are like, oh yeah, I forgot about my like EXP stock. I like checked it and there's like 50 grand sitting right there or something. And so it's just really, really, really exciting, but there's more. The other really cool thing is the revenue share. So this is where Glenn copied Keller Williams' model because they have a profit share model, and the difference is extreme. So it's 7 tiers, and the kind of summary of it is that like at EXP, they're 20%, they keep 10 of it, and then the other 10 is distributed to like the 7 people above that agent, just in terms of their upline.
Whoever referred them or
no, who brought them to the company.
Yeah.
So when, like, if you're a realtor,
so this is like an agent MLM.
It absolutely is.
Like all mixed together.
Dude, exactly, it absolutely is. And Keller Williams was the same thing, but here's the difference. Theirs, and the percentages in the 7 layers identical, except for the fact that theirs is profit share. So profit means the money left over after they've paid their super expensive, on the main boulevard office, like, their 4 staff members' salaries, again, all their expensive equipment.
So $20.
Yeah. So there's very, very little. EXP, because it's virtual, even though they have overhead, they don't throw that in the mix. It is revenue share. So it's real money. I have very close friends of mine, and this is not an exaggeration, they are doing $100,000 a month in passive revenue share. It's nuts. So like a much more modest example is, you're paying your mortgage with that, and what's cool about it is that is kind of the end game. Like, I am all about slinging houses. I love running my team. There's no way I want to be this invested and give so much of myself and my time and my energy to what I'm doing in 20 years from now. No way. I want to go super hard right now. I'm 100% production focused. But what is amazing is that I can keep income coming in from this revenue share down the road. And that's really exciting because if I hurt myself or I stop producing, if I didn't have revenue share, I have no money. And it's willable. It is freaking willable.
Really?
So you can pass this down to your heirs. All that your heirs have to do to receive your revenue share is basically get licensed, and then you pay EXP's $85 a month monthly fee.
Do you have me as your heir?
Yeah, bro.
Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. Dude, that's crazy. Okay, that makes sense.
Pretty
dude.
cool. Yeah.
So there's no offices, like actual EXP big offices.
I mean, we like teams get their own.
Yeah, but there's no like corporate big office.
I mean, there's places where their staff exists throughout the country, but it's not the same as like a Remax, a Century 21, a Keller Williams, a Compass. Absolutely no. There's a partnership with Regis, which is like a kind of like a WeWork kind of company where if you're like a solo agent and it's very important to you that you don't work from home all the time, you can go to Regis and work for free and stuff like that. So that's cool. But for us, we love having our office space. It's a nice place where we can bring people together. We're very hybrid in terms of Zoom versus like in person. Cause like we were talking earlier, our agents in the Inland Empire, I don't expect them to drive like 2 hours for, like an hour training or something like that. So, we'll do the training in the office and people come to the office for that. And then we always have the computer, like, streaming and recording it on Zoom for for people who, you know, it just doesn't make sense for them to do the commute. So
the biggest thing I see is like you're getting rev share from the money that's being made, not after all expenses.
yeah.
So off the top.
Yes.
Not off the like.
Exactly.
That means
It's
spending.
revenue, it's not profit, which is night and day different.
Yeah, because profit is like I could go pay my truck, I could go do this. I
Exactly.
could go do that.
And it's funny you say
Yeah.
that because one of the head, or not head honchos, but one of the OGs who's like rev share is just stupid. He was a big team leader at Keller Williams, and he thought, you know, back in the day when he had his profit share with Keller Williams, he thought it was the coolest thing in the world that his like $700 car payment was paid for by that. And he's one of those people that does like $100K plus a month on it now. So
On EXP.
yeah. And because of that model, this is where I didn't really understand it until I got a part of it, and it sounds like cheesy and cliched, but the spirit of collaboration over competition is so freaking real, because if you bring somebody to the company, you are motivated to help them win, because if they win, you're going to make your upline money.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm part of something called the Fast Forward movement, which is just a rock star community of people, and we have Zoom masterminds with the best of the best in the world, really, you know, weekly. And those masterminds are insane. The sharing that is given on that, the collaboration, the ideas, it is just on another level. And again, comparing it to the like traditional brick and mortar model, that model, you're collaborating with your extreme competition, first of all, like you're knocking on the same doors, you're mailing to the same houses, but then you're also like, you're just collaborating with like the rock stars of your like, you know, 200 person office rather than your 90,000 company. Yeah. So it's just a different conversation when you're talking to, you know, team leaders that are doing what we're doing, but on a level like 3-4 years ahead of us.
So you could see what's happening.
Yeah, it's a roadmap. It's an absolute roadmap. And, you know, but before, when I was at a different company, I was the biggest fish in a very small sea, and that felt good for my ego, sure, but I was not learning at all there. And, you know, now I am a very small fish in a big sea, and I'm learning so much, and we're just growing and building. And I mean, it's phenomenal.
Good, dude. No, but now I know why, because it's a lot of people I know that joined that, and I'm like, okay, now it makes sense, because people are making money from other people joining, which more people are selling houses and doing good. So cool. Last thing, bro. Anybody struggling right now, like an agent struggling,
mm-hmm.
What are a few things they could do to like get out of this rut and go hard in 2024?
I'd say just really spend time on sharpening your skill set. I think the market's going to improve next year, so maybe you don't need to be as sharp to succeed as you did, you know, last year and this year. But it blows my mind that agents can't really articulate, like we were talking earlier, the 2-1 buy down, or to be able to talk to people about, you know, what the Fed is doing and these more macroeconomic kind of conversations, because it truly is a good time for buyers to buy, even though the rates are higher right now, mm-hmm. even though they will be lower in the future. And being able to articulate why they should buy now, even though the rates are going to be lower in the future, you have to be sharp to do that. And that's something that we practice with our team all the time. And to me, that's like one of the biggest differences is other people just are like, oh, that's a little out of my lane. Like, I don't like talking about anything related to mortgage. I always like to just hand them off to my lender. Well, especially if you're talking to an online lead or a stranger, you kind of have to like give them enough of an explanation to get them to take their time and then meet with your lender when they don't know you, they don't know that person. So I think it's just being able to articulate things a little outside of just, you know,
it's actually caring.
Yes. Yeah. It's caring, and it's more than just like, okay, so like how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. It's like, I tell the team, we should always be thinking of ourselves as like financial advisors for the asset class of real estate for our clients. We're obviously not licensed as financial advisors. We you know, so we need to be very careful with that, but still it's going above and beyond, like really give people advice, like explain to them strategy, rather than, again, like, you know, just being a glorified door opener.
I just had a call today, bro, and the guy's like, hey, I want to go get a loan. This is what I want to build. I'm like, okay, I don't need to go to your house, but I'll give you all the price.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so unattached to the outcome if he works with us or not, that I give him the price. I'm like, hey, this is gonna, like, let's say a garage conversion is gonna cost you $125, I say, for example, $125. Oh, you want to do new construction? It's gonna be like around this one you want that you're looking for, 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, $230.
Right.
I just, I actually give him numbers, $230, $235. Permits are gonna be this much. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Now I have ammo to go to the lender. I was like, cool. You need a lender? No, I got a lender. Okay, great. If they need a lender, I would have offered them somebody.
Right.
But I don't mind, even if they're shopping me. I don't know if they're shopping me, dude. I don't know. But I said, I'd rather just, here's everything you need.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to work with us, cool. If you don't, what would it hurt me?
Right. I relate to that philosophy a lot, because you're providing value, and like there might be one or two that like leverages you, sure, but there's gonna be way more that are like, you know what, that guy gave me so much value.
They appreciate the actual numbers, because most of the guys, they're like it's, I don't know. Yeah, that happens too with you guys.
Totally.
Like, oh, well, we have to do a consultation first, and then we have to see if like where you're getting your money from before I can give you a price. I'm like, dude, give me a price, and then you go figure out, do what you have to do, and you come back, and if we work together, great.
Right. Don't like if they have momentum and they're asking you to like help keep the momentum going, don't screw that up.
Don't stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Like be that vehicle to help them get there. And I'm sure you're aware of this, but like you're doing more business with that approach than vice versa, for sure.
Well, look at Instagram, bro. What do I do? I give everything out.
Exactly.
I give everything out, and then people are like, well, cool.
Right.
Let's just let this guy do it.
Yeah. Bingo. And that's where it's being very confident in your workflow. And sometimes for me, it's like I give my secrets out, in terms of like, this is a strategy we're doing, these are the tools that we're doing. And some people, especially if they're like newer in the industry, they think they have to be so guarded, like, oh my God, I have this great loan program nobody else can know about. It's like, no. There's so much to go around. Like,
dude, but think about it like
just
this.
Share it, man.
If you share it, like I share it with people, like, how are you getting so much business? I share it. You know, what do I do?
Right.
Social
but
media.
are they executing? Are they sitting in a studio like this? Are they scheduling, their guests and everything?
No. So then it goes back to that. Like, like I tell them, hey, I do videos. We shoot like the work we're doing. We show that we pass inspections. We show finished product. Everything that a customer wants to see.
Right.
And they're like, oh, okay. I get that question, like, what are we doing to get business? Probably, I don't know, twice a day.
Right.
From different contractors. And I'm like, you see it? Like, I'm doing what like, you're seeing it. But then the execution part.
Yeah. Number one, they're not going to execute. Number two, if one or two actually do elevate and execute, they're not taking any business away from you.
Nope.
And if you are able to like change somebody else's life and business by sharing, like your gift to somebody else and it helps them, there's no way that is going to come back and bite you in the ass.
That's so crazy that people are like, oh, like it's a gift of being on camera. Like, dude, I hate being on camera. It's just like I got used to it.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it, bro.
Sure.
I didn't like it at first. Any questions you have for me?
Ooh.
Because I'm sure you get a few about my world.
Absolutely. I mean, like flippers right now, I know so often I've seen flippers get in trouble because they just are assuming that they're going to get immediate ROI on like adding an ADU to a project. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's going to be like area specific. But are you seeing, like with ADUs, are you seeing that it's that immediate, okay, it costs $200 or $200K to do this, and then that's adding like $300K immediately, like for a flipper? Or is it still kind of more the income generating and then
yeah income generating? I don't see it, like, let's just say like Frogtown, that's where you're seeing like value, right? Mm-hmm. Like in that area of LA, that's where you'll see value. And I have seen some comps, like stuff selling in this area already with ADUs, but it's hard to say because you don't like going back to the appraisal process. Yeah, the appraiser's like, well, there's no ADUs around here. What do you want me to do? Right. So then it costs you $200 to build, but they'll probably only give it $100 of value. Right. So I don't see many flippers actually putting up ADUs, and if they they're running a big risk, you know.
Dude, I had somebody. This was like last year. They came to us and they already had it on the market. They were so overpriced. I forget exactly the numbers, but let's go with like having to sell for 1.4 and like there's no way it's worth more than 1.2. And you know, they're explaining, they're like, yeah, we did this whole ADU, and they also the materials they picked for everything were like way too nice for the neighborhood. And they came to us and we were telling them what it's worth, and they were like, well, that's not acceptable. Like, we have to sell it for 1.4. And I was like, well, but like, that was your fuck up.
Not mine. Yeah.
It's not mine. Like, I'm not going to take a listing that's just completely out of reality. And this is just going to be such a headache. You're going to be frustrated with us. We're going to be frustrated with you. You know, you kind of should have consulted with us in the first place on like if you should have done this ADU. You know, there's other areas where like you do see flippers, you know, do it and it makes sense, but that's something that's just
I just think most flippers steer away from them because of the hold time.
Exactly.
Hold time.
Yeah.
We see more long-term, like buy and hold investors do the
yeah,
ADUs.
buy and hold. It makes sense all day.
Yeah. So they'll like do a HELOC on another property they have, build the ADU, so they're getting more cash flow, right?
Yeah.
But no, investors, like flipping investors, and I don't work with flip investors, dude. We stay away from them because we're talking two different languages.
Oh yeah, no, I totally get
I guess
that.
like it's construction. I'm like, no, because they want construction like they turn around, they want it done already.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like when you're doing inspections, things are a little slower. They're always a little slower.
Yeah, no, totally. How do you, we talked a little bit about like, you know, robots and stuff, but how do you see AI impacting your field?
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, how? Like, if you need let's say your electrical goes bad, how's AI gonna go?
Right.
Like, I don't see it, dude. And people are like, oh no, technology. I'm like, but like where we live at here, right? What city you live in?
Marina Del Rey right now.
Marina Del Rey. Okay. It's so tight there. And let's say your plumbing goes out. Like how's the AI or robot or anything like that gonna go fix that? There's no possible way.
What about like 3D printing?
I see 3D printing happening, but once again,
there was a house made recently. I saw that at the Zillow conference I was at. It was like the first 3D printed house.
There's two in Venice, bro.
Wow.
Like they're beautiful. Like it's crazy how like they look. They look unique. I'm gonna tell my buddy, give me the address and I'll send them to you.
How expensive are you not worried about that?
Well, okay, so we're talking about the machine is big, right? We're building in people's backyards, right? I'm sure the technology hasn't caught up, so price point's gonna probably be through the roof too.
Yeah.
Like technology, remember when you first bought the first big screen TV,
right,
the first flat screen, it was like $5,000 or something like that. So when it happens, I'm sure we'll pivot whatever way we have to, but I'm not like worried about it right now.
Well, and again, it's a tool that like if you run from it, you'll get beat by it.
Yeah.
If you embrace it as like this is a tool that I can actually leverage, it might change things about how I work.
When it's here, I'll take it.
Yeah,
for sure. But
totally.
like right now, even if it goes mass production, we're 10 years out. I don't see it happening right now.
Yeah.
And then I would just have to worry on how to buy one of those.
Totally.
Yeah, but no, I don't see it, dude. Not yet, at least.
That makes sense.
It's a lot of manual labor, dude.
Yeah.
All this stuff is a lot of manual labor. So
Totally.
No.
Have you been following the like big like real estate lawsuits like with like a buyer's agent commissions and all that stuff? Not
detailed.
Okay.
But I have seen that supposedly real estate agents are going to lose their shirt or some shit like that. But you know, the media always blows things out of proportion.
What are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I personally have not paid a commission ever. I paid wholesale fees.
Sure.
I paid Joey a wholesale fee. Joey a wholesale fee. But, you know, like I get it. But at the same time, I'm in this world of buying off market. And so I know this world. I say, yes.
If you were selling your house, so not the off market stuff, like, you know, your family house, it's time for you to like move on to the next one. To get the most money for it, you'd do retail, you'd go to market with it. Would you pay the buyer's agent commission as the seller?
Well, then the deal doesn't happen. I don't think the deal happens if you don't do that.
Right.
Because unless the bank's going to finance that in there already, but then these are things that...
Currently, you can't finance that in.
So then the deals won't happen because people,
Right.
a lot of first-time home buyers are just barely
Exactly,
getting by,
bro.
dude.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? Add another, what, 15,000, 20,000 on top?
Right, of liquid capital
Yeah.
you need? Yeah.
I don't see it happening. I don't see
No.
a lot less transactions will happen.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. And now the buyer's agent, it's going to be a little complicated because, like, hey, you need to pay me, but like,
Right.
at what point do they pay? Do they pay before the sale, after the sale now?
Right.
Like, or what
Well,
am I
it'd
going to
be
do?
after, probably, yeah.
Am I going to show
Or
you
maybe
100
there's a
homes?
retainer, like
Yeah, am I
lawyers
gonna
have
I'm
retainers.
going to show you 100 homes before you actually make a move. You know? So
Totally.
I think it protected everybody, but you know, I don't see it how I think the volume of houses is going to drop drastically, of house sales.
Yeah. I don't see it really doing much. It'll change a few things, but because here's the thing. Right now, or sorry, before all that happened, a seller could like pay the buyer's agent 1 cent. Like on the MLS, they had the option. Different MLSs, it might have been $1, but that's basically zero, right?
Yeah.
So the whole philosophical change is that now it can actually be zero, and everyone's freaking out about it. But it's been a struggle my whole career with some sellers. A lot of sellers get it. They're like, yeah, for me to get top dollar, I need to incentivize the buyer's agent. But for some sellers, they're like, oh yeah, I want to keep everything as low as possible. But you know, it's like, are we more worried about like a few grand for commissions versus like the, you know, getting top dollar for it? And so that's
think
not
about
a
it.
new
When you go
conversation.
1% on the listing,
Right.
you're getting way less agents showing up.
Sure, exactly.
So you're gonna get way less offers.
Right. And what I've never had to worry about this really. We haven't changed our systems yet. And before, when a buyer would be like, hey, I want to see this house, and we're looking it up and it's like a 1% fee to the buyer's agent, we absolutely were showing them that property, and if they want it, we'll just go and get it. And we were not, you know, oh man, we would have made so much extra money because this is I always tell the agents, like, we're in the game of just collecting as many past clients as we can, because then everything's spider webs, your referral networks.
Yeah, but
that's the game.
you guys are an anomaly. Most people don't think that way. Most people are like very commission driven.
True.
No.
We're studying the LA market so closely right now, and we're basically just watching, like, are the buyer's agent fees about to really go down? Because when they do, or if when they do, what we're going to change on our team is, like, right now we already put our buyers under contract with us. Mm-hmm. And that just protects us, basically, so that they don't go to an open house and, you know, go under contract, and we've been working with them forever. So they're already under contract with us. What some teams do, we don't do this yet, is they say, my fee is 2.5%, maybe it's 3%, whatever they say their fee is. And again, this is where you have to be a really skilled agent to convey your value so that they will feel good about paying this. But they'll say, my fee is 2.5%, and so if the seller is offering less, you authorize me to negotiate to try to get the seller to pay my fee, and if not, then you need to pay the remaining balance. And so that's just what's going to happen if this starts to become a trend. And then what I see happening is,
It's far out though, right?
I mean, I see on realtor forums like, oh my God, it happened here. So you're seeing little things here and there. It hasn't turned into this huge thing yet, but you know, like that, I'm not afraid of that, because I know that we have extreme value and we can convey that to people. And what will happen in that reality is, just like right now, if a buyer sends me a house and they're like, oh, we're so excited to see this, and then I look it up before we schedule it, and I'm like, oh shit, you didn't see that this is literally right on top of a freeway. Are you sure you still want to include this on the outing? Oh no, screw that. No, thank you. It'll be the exact same shit as like, ooh, I'm not sure if you see this, but they're not paying my commission on this. The other 3 that you want to see are paying my commission. Do you still want to include that?
So it's going to be based on the seller. Is that what they're saying? or is it going to be across the board?
Well, yeah. The here's like the sellers traditionally have just been expected to pay both. And now it's like they have the option to pay 0. Before it was like 1 cent again. So we're not talking anything huge or that different. But, you might see a culture like that start to develop. But again, those sellers are going to be hurting themselves to a degree. Or like what you were just saying, laws change so that the buyers can finance in the loan their buyer's agent fee. I can also see that happening because if you think about it, the current system makes a whole lot of sense where the seller is the one who has this huge windfall of cash at the end. The buyer, like you said, the first-time home buyer, they scraped every penny they possibly have for their down payment and their closing costs.
Right,
so good luck having an
right.
extra 15, 20 grand to pay their realtor. So that's why it's set up that way. But if this is kind of changing things, it'll just get restructured. The agents that are just up in arms, like, oh my God, it's the end of days for us agents. I mean, come on.
You always figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thank you for coming on, bro.
Hell yeah, brother.